Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to Beyond the Launch. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me live. For those of you who are new to the group and do not know me, I am fixing my hair. Okay, hold on. All right, okay, time out. For those of you who do not know me, if you're new to the group, I am LaConya Murray, brand attorney, speaker, and entrepreneur advocate. I'm so excited to be here bringing you another week of Murray's Law. So Murray's Law, it is our opportunity, or my opportunity, when I come on and answer a question that's either submitted by one of the groups in our member, or maybe it was left on our YouTube page, or maybe it was emailed to me. And so this question here is a really good one. It's a general one, but it's a good one. And I think that everyone can benefit from the answer. We've been covering this over the last 4 weeks. We've been talking about legal and making sure that you have your legal house in order and to stop riding dirty in your business. And so if you haven't joined the masterclass, if you missed any of it, you want to sign up now, because after next week it's going away. So you want to sign up now, and then you want to binge watch all the previous episodes so that you can be up to date. So when we do our final one on next Monday, May the 6th, can you believe it that it is May already? So when we do our final one on May the 6th, you will be caught up and you'll be able to have seen all the other ones. All right, great. So the question again is, what are the top 3, or maybe I didn't give you the question. The question today is, what are the top 3 legal mistakes that are made in business? Top 3. And I spent some time thinking about this. I was like, what are the top 3 mistakes? I don't know. But I will tell you, and if you follow me for any time, you might know some of these, but I would say the number one thing is just going out and getting the wrong business structure. Just going out and getting an LLC just because that's the popular thing to do. That's the thing that you've heard of and you're familiar with. You go out and get an LLC without talking to your accountant, without talking to your attorney. So the whole purpose of an LLC is to limit your liability, make sure that your personal assets are protected from your business liabilities, right? So that's the legal part of it. But on the flip side, it's more than that, because the way that your business entity is set up also has tax ramifications. So you can be taxed differently based on how your entity is formed. And I'll be honest with you, that is out of my realm of genius when it comes to the tax. So I recommend that you see an accountant or a CPA so they can make sure that not only are you getting this limited liability, but also you're getting the best tax benefits to that. So many people just form LLCs without ever talking to an accountant, and they're losing money because they have the wrong business entity selected. So get you an accountant that can say, hey, they can answer your questions like, these are my goals for the next 5-10 years. This is where I see myself. How should I be taxed? This is how much money I plan to make. What's the best way for me to keep this money in my pocket? You know, those type of questions that you can't ask an attorney, but you can ask an accountant. And I put that as the top 3 legal, because that business entity structure is a legal structure. But at the end of the day, you're going to need to talk to an accountant to make sure you have your financial house in order. And you got to have that in order. You can't, if you're not, who wants to make money and give it all away? I want to keep as much money as possible, but I want to do it legally, right? I don't want to be one of those people where I'm not reporting all of my income because I'm afraid to get taxed. I want to report all of my income, but know the legal way that I can get tax benefits and breaks, right? Don't we all want to do that? I say that we do. So that's number 1. Number 1 is making sure, having the wrong business entity selected and just doing it all willy-nilly because everybody knows that you're supposed to get an LLC. What if you're already existing? Should you change it if your accountant advises? People do it all the time. You have people who start out as LLCs, and once they reach a certain level of income, their accountant advises that they start being taxed as an S corp. And that's the thing you have to know too. A lot of people say, I want to form an S corp. You don't form an S corp, you form an LLC, and then you're taxed as an S corp, which is the hybrid of a corporation. So definitely, that's definitely something that you can do. And I would recommend, if you need to do that in order for your business to grow and get to where you want to be at, absolutely. That's a really good question. The next, number 2. What's number 2? I'm looking at my notes. Oh, this is the wrong date. No wonder. Ha! It says Monday. Listen, we just talked about this last night. Is today Wednesday or Tuesday? Yeah, so last night. Not using contracts. Stop operating your business without written agreements. You have to have written agreements in place. These written agreements protect you. They communicate what you will be doing, what is going to happen in your business, especially when it comes to working with clients. It sets the expectations. What can the clients expect from you? What are the client's responsibilities and obligations to you? All those things need to be set out and spelled out in writing to minimize and cut out any type of confusion, all right? You can also use contracts when you're working with these third parties and you want to make sure that all the information they get while working with you, maybe you're working with a virtual assistant or something of that nature, all the passwords, all of the just information they get while they're working for you is protected, that it doesn't leave your business. Do that, okay? Stop operating your business without written agreements. There's all types of written agreements you can use. Make sure to sign up for the masterclass and watch the video from last night where I talk about it even further. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you're like, what are you talking about? You can register for the masterclass too. I'll put the link in the description. I'll put the link in the description so that you can register for the masterclass and you can get this same information. So number one is not setting up the right business entity. Number two, it's not using contracts in your business. And one of the things I mentioned last night is that your contracts are only as good as the people you enter into the agreement with. So you need to make sure that you are vetting the people that you're doing business with. Okay? And you'll hear the analogy that it's just like entering into a marriage. If you're dating someone and they cheat and they go around sleeping with everybody, just because you marry them doesn't mean they're going to stop cheating. If they hadn't done that already, if they haven't fixed that behavior, you saying I do is not going to change that. If you go into business with someone who doesn't have very high business morals, they're unethical, just because you sign this contract doesn't mean they're magically going to become ethical. That's just the bottom line. So make sure that you vet the people that you enter into the contract with. And the third thing, the number 3 top business mistake that businesses make is not properly identifying and protecting their intellectual property. Not properly identifying and protecting their intellectual property. Listen, those things are assets. It's not just about having some type of form filed with whatever federal agency. It's about making sure that you have the right to exclude other people from using your property, which means when they need to use it, they have to come to you. And if they have to come to you, now you have an additional stream of revenue. I've been using the last couple of weeks, I've been using this example about Beyonce and Coachella. She negotiated, she said, okay, I'm going to do this performance at Coachella for X amount of money, but I want to own the rights to my performance. Own the rights to her performance. She's owning her intellectual property because that performance is a copyright. So she's owning that intellectual property. And then she took that property that she owned and she either sold it or she licensed it to Netflix to make the Homecoming documentary and made $20 million. And then she took the music that she recorded during that Coachella performance and she made an album. Another form of copyrights. She took the music and now she has a derivative. She has that album. And then she took the theme of that Coachella performance and she created merch for all her fans to buy. So she owned her intellectual property. And yes, Michelle, intellectual property is that intellectual property, that property of the mind. Those things, when I talk about trademarks and copyrights, patents and trade secrets, those are all forms of intellectual property. And all those have value to them. A lot of times people, because they can't, pick it up and sell it, like you can't put your hand on it, they're like, oh, that's not real property. That's not a real thing. That's not a real thing. But it is. It is. Intellectual property is just as real as real property. It's just as real and just as valuable, even more valuable than watches and computers and land and all that great stuff, right? So those are my 3 takeaways. You need to start backwards. 3, identify and protect your intellectual property. 2, use written contracts. Use written contracts when you're working with people. And 3, make sure that you're talking with an accountant before you form your business entity. Don't just go form an LLC just because that's popular, because you see memes saying that, oh, we need to start what's the thing say? We need to give our children businesses, form LLCs in their names, and when they graduate, blah, 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 blah. Don't do that. Don't do that. Not unless your kid is actually in business. Don't do that. But those are the 3 takeaways. Listen, thank you, Nichelle. I'm so glad that you're finding this information valuable. If you think this information is valuable, make sure that you sign up for the masterclass. It's a free masterclass. The last one is Monday, May the 6th. I've been talking about everything from copyrights to contracts. On Monday, we're going to talk about team building the right way to build your team. And that's going to conclude our master series. That's all I have for you today. So Murray's Law, again, Murray's Law, the 3 things. 1, the 3 top legal mistakes. The first one, choosing the wrong business entity. You're just choosing one without talking to an accountant to make sure that not just your legal is protected, but then your financial is protected as well, so you can get your legal tax breaks. 2, the second thing is not using contracts. People, it's 2019. We're going to use contracts in our business. And if you work with someone, or you're thinking about working with someone, and you present them with a contract, or you say, hey, I want to put this in writing, and they say, oh, we don't need to do that. Oh, why do you want to be so formal? What's up? Why are you doing all that for? Because it's business. That's why I'm doing all that. And if they say, then run away. Don't walk, run the other way, and don't do business with them, because it is business. It's not personal. It's not why are you afraid to put what we talked about down in writing? Okay? All right. And then the third thing is not identifying and protecting your intellectual property. We can't be mad. I see people all the time who are mad because other people are taking advantage of our creativity. We can't be mad when people take advantage of our creativity if we have not done what we need to do in order to protect it and make sure they don't have the opportunity to take advantage of our creativity, right? So that's what I have for you today. You all are wonderful. Have an amazing rest of the afternoon. Take care.